Hey, what's going on, guys? It's AfroLegacy, and welcome back to the second channel, where today we're checking out the Bakugo versus Reze death battle. This is a contest or a debate that's been happening pretty heavily since the Reze arc came out in cinemas last year, and obviously My Hero Academia ended last year as well, so conversations around Bakugo and all those characters are very hyped up. These two, I'm very curious about how this death battle is going to go. I've said before when I do reactions to Death Battle, I'm not a power scaler in that sort of way. I'm going into this with the mindset of, I feel like Bakugo takes it. I couldn't tell you why, that's just my gut instinct. Bakugo and Reze are characters I both dearly love. Bakugo is my favourite character in My Hero Academia, and Reze is really interesting in Chainsaw Man. So having these two explosion users put together, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I always say in Death Battle, as long as you don't take it too seriously, because, you know, power scaling is kind of stupid. If you don't take it too seriously and you just enjoy the animation, you're going to have a good time. I will put the timestamp to the animation and the fight on screen. If you don't want to hear me yap over the rest of the commentary of this video, you can just skip straight to the battle. But we're going to hop into this. Of course, the original video link will be in the description because, hey, we got to show love and credit to Death Battle whenever they do this. And it seems like they've got merchandise as well, so let's play this.
Well, look who's here.
Oh, you twos. Okay, great.
Bakugo versus Reze.
The god of explosions versus the bomb devil.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
Already,
And it's our
the
job to
animation
analyze
looks
their
really
weapons,
nice.
armor and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
This animation looks really sick already. Oh, I'm so excited.
Ah, Wiz, there's nothing like the smell of napalm in the morning, the rush of the shockwave, the flash of combustion. I love it when stuff goes boom.
And no one knows that feeling better than Katsuki Bakugo.
When your name literally means powerful bomb, it's no wonder he was born with the quirk Explosion. It lets Bakugo create humongous kabooms from his palms. I can only dream of having hands that
I love this. Likes winning, blowing stuff up. Hey, fair enough.
red.
Quirks are genetic superpowers that most humans are born with. Bakugo inherited his quirk from his parents. Specifically, it was a combination of his father's combustible acid sweat and his mother's glycerin skin secretions.
Making Bakugo sweat basically like nitroglycerin. And the more he sweats, the bigger the booms. His parents basically made the perfect kid, absolutely oozing with shonen main character energy.
True. Yeah, Bakugo kind of did, like, win the quirk lottery. If you think about it, a lot of quirks are fine. Jiro's quirk's fine. Kirishima's quirk's fine. Bakugo's quirk is stupidly powerful. He won the lottery when it came to quirks.
Bakugo felt similarly, so much so that he started bullying his childhood friend who happened to be born without a quirk.
Yeah, okay, he's kind of a snot-nosed turd sometimes, but come on, Wiz! The kabooms! They're so cool!
Quirks are a natural biological feature of a person's body. In the same way that we don't really think about walking or breathing, Bakugo's explosions became like any other limb, especially with his rigorous training.
Bakugo quickly picked up on how to use his explosions to obliterate anything in sight, block attacks, launch himself around, and quickly maneuver in midair at hypersonic speeds, which requires a ton of focus and on-the-fly calculations.
And despite getting this incredibly dangerous quirk when he was 4, he somehow never killed himself or anyone else that we know of. Bakugo
That we know of. Yeah, Bakugo's killed a couple people in his life, probably. Yeah, explaining the quirk, it's great. Get, like, offense, defense, like, movability. Bakugo's quirk is stupid. It's so stupid.
A prodigy, destined for greatness.
And his only goal was to surpass Japan's numero uno superhero and his personal idol, All Might. In Bakugo's mind, the only person who wins no matter what. Absolute victory. No problem for the main character.
Except Katsuki wasn't the protagonist that he thought he was. That would be Izuku Midoriya, the quirkless child Bakugo bullied. In truth, he was threatened by Izuku's tenacity despite being quirkless.
Really? That crybaby's the main character? Well, Bakugo's inferiority complex would only get worse when Deku somehow landed a quirk that was just as cool, and both were accepted to the same superhero high school, UA High.
There, he would learn to be a superhero and fully develop his ultimate moves.
Like flying through the sky faster than sound ground with turbo speed, blinding people with stun grenade, focusing his blasts into armor-piercing shots, or making a big-ass tornado of death.
The howitzer impact involves Bakugo spinning himself in midair with his explosions, building up a tremendous amount of swirling oxygen, and then igniting it all for one hell of a boom.
He's pretty smart when it comes to strategizing mid-fight. He even developed new techniques for his quirk faster than Deku did.
UA High also aided Bakugo's development by
That's also another thing about Bakugo that people still don't talk about that often. He's a really smart dude. I'm pretty sure he's one of the top in terms of like test results in UA class, behind characters obviously like Momo and Ido. Like, he's really smart. Like, he is desperate to be a perfectionist.
pairing him with his iconic Grenadier bracers, gauntlets that allow him to store up his sweat, gross, for prolonged bouts.
It is
or
nasty.
to release all of it at once in a single massive blast.
He's also got his hero suit, which helps him sweat faster in order to build up stronger attacks. Or the Strafe Panzer, these badass turrets mounted to his back that store his sweat as ammo. With all of that, it wasn't long before Bakugo made his hero debut, called the Bombshell Hero, Great Explosion Murder God, Dynamite.
What
Hey, I dig
a
it.
what a stupid set of names. What a stupid set of names.
The more colons, the merrier.
But despite some early wins, Bakugo failed to live up to his own sky-high expectations. He had the makings of a great hero, if only he could get out of his own way and put the team before his ego.
Especially when he was kidnapped by the League of Villains, ultimately leading Bakugo to blame himself for All Might's retirement. Something needed to change.
So he vented his frustrations in a slugfest with Deku and realized something crucial. That the kind of absolute victory that defined All Might wasn't victory for himself, but victory for everyone.
He was starting to become the prodigy everyone knew he could be. I mean, hell, even while he was unconscious, he kept analyzing the fight he was in and coming up with counters. Somehow.
Bakugo's powerful
Somehow.
enough to shatter Todoroki's heaven-piercing ice wall, fast enough to keep up with villains like Shigaraki, who can catch light beams, and tough enough to survive, well,
Being dead? Yep, you heard us. Bakugo was killed, dead as a doornail. And then a single bead of sweat floating through his bloodstream detonated and restarted his heart. If that isn't main character plot armor, I don't know what is.
That was kind of ridiculous. That was kind of ridiculous. Yeah, as you can't see it because my camera's in the way. It's talking about Edgeshot going into Bakugo's body and stitching his organs back together, which to this day I still think's a really dumb plot point. Just because Edgeshot and Bakugo don't interact. You know, if it was a case of Best Genius did it, that would work better story-wise because Bakugo and Best Genius obviously teamed up for the what's it called? Bakugo and Best Genius teamed up for something that one time. Bakugo started working under him as like a study. So Best Genius doing it would have been a better story point compared to Edgeshot, who didn't do anything in the series. But that's a minor issue I have with the story.
his stamina is perhaps the craziest thing about him. After all, he is tanking the recoil of all of his explosions.
Even with the overuse of his blasts literally tearing his body apart, he kept trying to make him stronger, and eventually his quirk awakened.
Essentially, when a quirk evolves to become stronger. Now, by condensing his explosions into smaller and more powerful clusters, Bakugo could enhance all of his techniques.
Like the Howitzer Impact Cluster, a stunning achievement in the field of explosionology, or kaboom theory for the layman.
Powerful enough to shatter the side of a mountain, or blow apart UA High itself. Judging by the school's size, we can estimate
Fucking love when they do this. Love all these fucking numbers they just slap on screen. It's like, I'm taking their word for it, okay? I don't have the time, energy, or even care that much to double check all of these facts, right? That they slap the numbers on screen. If you care enough to figure it out, that's there for you. But the way they do this is so funny.
Bakugo's Howitzer Impact Cluster yielded over 300 kilotons of TNT.
Given Bakugo's whole deal is explosions, it makes sense to science out what a ton of TNT actually is. It's literally the energy contained in 1,000 kilograms of trinitrotoluene.
A chemical compound composed of hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon.
That's the recipe for kabooms.
Sure.
Now, imagine a pile of TNT as big as the Empire State Building blowing up all at once. That That's Bakugo's howitzer impact cluster.
And these explosions can launch him so fast, it's like time stands still around him.
Like when he covered a huge part of this city in a fraction of a second, almost 400 times the speed of sound.
And that's not all. Now he can detonate his sweat remotely, and from all over his body, not just his palms.
With all of this crazy bullshit, Bakugo became one of the strongest heroes on Earth, enough to battle and defeat All Might's lifelong arch nemesis, All for One. Yeah, that's right, the main villain, who's the protagonist now, Deku.
Bakugo literally and figuratively surpassed his childhood idol and proved his mettle as a hero.
Number 5 on the rankings and rising. Not bad, Kachan.
But more important than proving it to his friends, to All Might, or even to Deku, he proved it to himself.
Yeah, whatever. Take that, losers! Sickest quirk in the world over here! Dynamite! Dynamite! Dynamite!
Bakugo is sick. I know people really don't like Bakugo's character because he's an asshole. Like, that's people's whole thing with Bakugo, right? They don't like him because he's the worst. He's my favorite character because he's the worst. That sort of asshole dynamic that he goes through, I think it's interesting, and I think it's fun, especially because it's a fictional series. It's not real. If Bakugo was real, I'd probably hate him. But because it's a story, who cares? I think his development's interesting. Again, I like his character a lot, but people just really don't like Bakugo because he's the worst, which I think's, you know, I feel like there are better reasons to dislike a character other than because they're mean.
Wiz, what happened to you?
Hey, I'm not getting sponsored by this.
Well, again, all manner of ill is out.
I'm not getting paid to show that.
Death, war, famine, conquest. Humanity has been plagued by all manner of ills since they first crawled out of the primordial ooze. In the world of Chainsaw Man, there is nothing to fear but fear itself.
Because fear itself is real, and they're called devils.
Literally devils from hell. These monstrous beings are the living embodiments of humanity's worst nightmares, and their power is directly proportional to that fear.
So the chicken devil might be so weak you could keep him as a class pet, like, you know, a chicken. But what about the bat devil, or the ghost devil, or the devil embodying man's fears of one of the greatest weapons it's ever created, the bomb devil?
Little is known about the origins of the bomb devils.
I absolutely love Chainsaw Man's like power concept of the embodiment of your fear, and the worse that fear is, the stronger the devil is. That's a really unique and fun power concept. It's great.
Current host, Reze, if that even is her real name.
She might look cute and kawaii, but she's actually a Soviet assassin trained from birth to be one of the deadliest killers on the planet. Basically a Black Widow. A cold and lonely existence for anyone, but quadruply so in a world as effed up as this.
But all Reze wanted was a safe, normal, quiet life. As much a fable to her as Aesop's Country Mouse.
Too bad! You are now a walking, talking explosive. Have fun.
Boom.
At some point, the girl known as Reze was implanted with a fragment of the bomb devil and became a hybrid. A human possessing a devil's powers without sacrificing their humanity, transforming their body into a living weapon.
As a hybrid, Reze's strength and speed are way crazier than a normal human's. And with her martial arts training, she's a force to be reckoned with up close. Also, Wiz, check out the bomb for a head.
Someone like Reze would eat you alive, literally. Should devils like Reze take any damage whatsoever, they can heal by consuming blood.
And that lets hybrids survive some pretty insane stuff, like having their limbs torn off, getting bisected clean in half, or being roasted alive. Just slurp some blood and they're good as new.
Especially useful considering the bomb devil's primary ability is literally blowing herself up.
Yep.
Reze can emit explosions from any surface of her body, even tearing off limbs and turning them into bombs that she can detonate at will.
Damn, that's hardcore! She can use these blasts to jet through the sky at hypersonic speeds, maneuver and redirect herself in midair, and enhance the strength and speed of her blows.
Or Reze can send sparks that can ignite the atmosphere in explosions that tear apart entire cities. Making herself stronger, the more fear her wanton destruction creates.
Which is so cool. The more she's just active as a devil, the bigger the fear surrounding her is. That's so fun. Which I feel like it's going to be an interesting concept for the battle itself, considering that Bakugo isn't scared of explosions. That's his whole thing. Reze can't grow stronger throughout the battle with Bakugo if Bakugo isn't scared of her or scared of her explosions, you know? I think that might come up at the end when they explain everything.
As long as the area around her is dry enough to maintain ignition, Reze can create as many explosions as she wants, non-stop.
She can even turn her own body into different types of real-world bombs to massively enhance their power.
Like transforming her leg into a torpedo or her apron into dynamite. Every single inch of Reze is a living weapon.
This made her feared across the devil world as one of their mightiest warriors, and the perfect choice to assassinate Japan's newly acquired devil hybrid, Chainsaw Man.
You see, you might not think chainsaws are all that scary, at least not compared to bombs, but the Chainsaw Devil is special.
Any devil the Chainsaw Devil consumes becomes deleted from reality.
Yep.
Retroactively erased from humanity's collective consciousness.
And here I thought chainsaws were for boring stuff like trees or Texas massacres. Silly me.
This ability makes the Chainsaw Devil the most important being alive and invaluable for any global power to control.
Except instead of meeting the fearsome chainsaw of legend, Reze met Denji, a dumb, horny teenage boy just looking for anyone to love.
And for once, Reze actually hesitated. Rather than immediately kill her target, she got to know him and found they weren't so different. Both were used as tools of the state, as weapons of war rather than people. A kindred spirit in a hostile world, Denji wanted to drink up as much of the excitement of life as he could. The town mouse to her country mouse.
And thankfully, he was super easy for a pretty face to manipulate.
It wouldn't be the only time.
Reze's nothing if not professional, and she gave Denji one parting gift. To teach him the way devils did battle before he died.
As the embodiment of one of the deadliest weapons known to man, Reze's power is off the charts, capable of creating an explosion more than 400 meters in diameter.
Jesus.
That's over 4 football fields long.
To have a blast that size, you'd need to be exploding with over 2 kilotons of TNT.
More than comparable to nuclear weapons, which is really impressive considering Reze is not the devil of nuclear bombs. That's apparently an entirely separate thing.
Despite her bombs being
Is it? I've not read Chainsaw Man Part 2. Oh, okay. I gotta start reading Chainsaw Man Part 2. I know that's just finished as well. Oh, God.
technically conventional, they're just that strong.
Likely comparable to other powerful devils like the Gun Devil, who could travel across the world and kill millions of people in 5 minutes.
That'd be over 500 times the speed of sound.
She's even stronger than the Typhoon Devil, a sentient city-spanning storm.
The literal coughing baby to her hydrogen bomb.
Hilarious.
Unfortunately for Reze, Denji took her lessons to heart and proved he was more than a fitting host for the Chainsaw Devil.
He whooped her ass, but spared her life, just in case her seduction wasn't a total act after all.
But it wasn't meant to be. Whether Reze chose the safe life of the country mouse or the exciting life of the town mouse, there are hungry cats everywhere.
Oh, Makima, what I would give to find someone to kill you.
Reze's dreams of freedom were never realized. She simply changed hands from one cold, unfeeling entity to another. And this time, there was no escape. She was a weapon, a symbol of man's bottomless capacity for malice and self-destruction.
A living bomb.
Beautiful. Beautiful summary of both characters. Beautiful summary of both characters. Again, I don't take Death Battle too seriously because power scaling in general is kind of stupid. But Death Battle as a commentary and like as an entertainment thing is really good. I like the dynamics of both of the hosts and going through the whole story and everything. I think they do a good job for the channel they are.
The battle's about to start, and I hope you've got something good to hear these kabooms with.
Yes,
Like
I do.
Buy raycon.com/deathbattleopen to get 15% off the Essential Open Earbuds.
I don't get sponsored for this.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Let's get into this. No intro?
I've been sent to collect your head, Dynamite.
Better villains than you have tried, lady. You tell your bosses that after I send you back in a coffin!
How would I tell them that if I was already dead? Wow, you're quick.
Shut up and die!
did he get that from? Where did he pull out his extra equipment from? Okay, sure. No intro, just no, like, talk between the two characters, just straight into the combat. Hey, I'm here for it.
Oh, damn! Oh, damn!
Okay, I give that. I'd say as a martial artist, Reze does take Bakugo, actually. That's very fair. I love the addition of her losing her head and then still moving, which is terrifying as a concept. If a bomb devil already wasn't scary, the fact she can lose her head and then just keep going is horrifying for anyone, so that's brilliant.
Move it or lose it, people!
Save me, Dynamite!
Let go of me!
Boom.
Ah, that's nice. Switching the animation for that? Okay.
Leave them out of this!
Oh god, that's not looking good. Wow, she's just tearing through people. She just tore through. Yeah, that's gonna motivate Bakugo. That was the wrong thing to do.
Leave them out of this!
Uh-oh.
For what it's worth, Dynamite, your blood was delicious.
You bit off a bit more than you could chew! My blood isn't the only thing you drank! It's my sweat you should worry about, dumbass!
Oh god.
I'm aiming for absolute victory! Howitzer! Impact! Cluster! Scratch that. Not enough for a coffin.
Okay. Bakugo wins. Interesting. That was the one I would favor to win in this battle. I love the addition, of him laughing during the explosion, which is obviously very reminiscent of the end of the season against his battle with All For One, where he's going too fast with his bombs and he's laughing about it. That little addition is so good. Reze had some of his sweat and he blew her up from the inside. Oh my god.
KO! Oh, Denji, we're so sorry to hear about your girlfriend that passed away. She gets 5 big booms. Boom!
Shut up.
Please just shut up. On the surface, these two seemed evenly matched. So let's break this fight down into 3 categories: their speed, their stamina, and their firepower.
Yep.
First up, let's talk speed.
Both Bakugo and Reze could rocket through the sky at hypersonic speeds and maneuver and redirect themselves on a dime in the middle of fights. To the casual observer, at least, they seem to be on par with each other.
So we have to look at the people they've fought to compare.
Reze has battled Chainsaw Man, who could match and defeat someone using the Gun Devil's power.
The same gun devil that could literally fly around the world, killing millions of people at over 500 times the speed of sound.
Impressive, but compare that to Bakugo fighting Shigaraki, who could react fast enough to catch light beams with his bare hands.
That's over 1,000 times faster. And that was before Bakugo's quirk awakening that made him even faster than that.
With reaction speed of that caliber, there's little chance Reze could ever get the drop on Bakugo, and would likely be forced to play catch-up in a duel. Speed goes to Bakugo.
Okay.
However, speed doesn't matter if one couldn't truly hurt the other. A big part of this fight is their stamina.
Bakugo's durability is mind-boggling. He's survived being impaled through the torso and has even brought himself back to life.
But unlike Reze, his stamina does eventually hit a limit.
Yep.
Every explosion he makes whittles him down just a little bit more and uses up more and more of his sweat. Without a break, he can eventually run out.
Whereas Reze can effectively create bombs without respite and from a distance.
Unlike Bakugo, who usually likes to get up close and personal.
Furthermore, her devil hybrid physiology gives her an actual regenerative healing factor, allowing her to shrug off the same kind of mortal blows that would eventually kill Bakugo, main character plot armor or not.
If this ever became a war of attrition, Reze had it in the bag. Stamina goes to Reze.
However, it's unlikely it would ever get to that point. The biggest factor in this fight was always going to be their raw firepower.
Explosions! First, we gotta compare their two biggest blasts, Reze's nuclear-like bomb against Denji versus Bakugo's howitzer impact cluster.
And the difference is obvious. Based on calculating their sizes, Bakugo's 300 kiloton explosion was over 100 times more powerful than Reze's 2 kiloton blast.
But that's not all. Remember the Typhoon Devil?
Coughing baby or not, to create a storm big enough to cover Tokyo's over 2,000 square kilometers, he'd have to be generating more than 400 kilotons of TNT.
Greater than Bakugo, right? But that's not all. Again, Bakugo's howitzer impact once shattered the size of this big-ass mountain. And despite being earlier on in the series, it was ginormous. Almost 3 kilometers in radius.
Or just over 2 megatons of TNT. 5 times more powerful than the Typhoon Devil, and way beyond anything we've seen Reze do.
And this was Bakugo before reaching his full power in his fight against All For One. Bakugo takes the final edge in explosions.
And remember, Bakugo withstands the recoil of all his blasts. So even though Reze had greater stamina, Bakugo was more than tough enough to hang on and get his kill shot, especially with his superior speed.
And devil healing factors can be overtaxed with enough damage. Hell, she needed to drink blood a couple times against Denji just to keep fighting.
Against someone as fast and powerful as Bakugo, she would not get the chance to heal consistently, or perhaps at all.
And what happens when devils die? They Bakugo to hell.
All right.
The winner is Katsuki Bakugo.
Bombshell, hero, great explosion, murder, god, dynamite. Next time on
Fun. Really, really fun. Okay, wait. Let's see this next time.
Death Battle.
Gru versus Megamind? Hold on.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle.
Gru versus Megamind is a death battle. So funny. Okay, brilliant. Battle fun. Again, animation, voice acting, all of that stuff when it goes into the fight is really, really entertaining. And that's always what I take away from Death Battle. How fun is it? This one was good. The references as well, obviously, Reze's boom, and the like martial arts she did as well against Bakugo's laughing and everything. Really fun. That's just entertaining as hell. Again, the direction I hoped it would go, but I don't power scale. Gru vs. Megamind, I got no idea what's going to happen in that one. But I may react to that one. If you want to see it, obviously let me know. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this reaction. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. You know, it's YouTube, and I'd have to tell you. Again, the original video link is in the description. I don't need to tell you guys to go check out Death Battle. If you're here, you've already seen it, right? But they deserve all the love and support every single time. I think they're a great channel. And I'll catch you guys in another reaction. Peace.